we got a key race alert right now. Almost half of the vote is in. 46% of the estimated vote is now in. Bernie Sanders maintains his lead with 27.7%. Pete Buttigieg in second place, 23.4%. Amy Klobuchar, 19.5%. In third place, Elizabeth Warren, she's down at 9.4%. Fourth place, Joe Biden, fifth place with 8.6%. The other candidates not doing well as all. David Chalian, you're looking at these numbers. You're looking at the exit poll numbers as well.
That's right, Wolf. And I am going to show you who had the real strength at the end of this campaign in New Hampshire. It was a late-moving campaign. We talked about that debate factor. Remember, half the electorate today, 49% of voters in the Democratic primary said the debate on Friday night was an important factor. Look how well Klobuchar did among those voters. She got 30% of them, followed by Buttigieg at 22% and Sanders at 20%. That debate was a huge difference for her. How about the 15% of the electorate who said they decided just today? Here, Pete Buttigieg is the closer. Among those who say just today, 15% of the electorate, Buttigieg gets 31%, Klobuchar 16%, Warren 15%, Sanders down at 12%. And here's a key part of Sanders' strength. His support is sticky. They go with him early and they stay there. They're not all that movable. Take a look among the 36% who decided before February, last month or earlier. Sanders gets 42% of them compared to Buttigieg at 16%. That is key, but you see Klobuchar and Buttigieg as strong closers, while Sanders has the advantage of early supporters that lock in. That's important to watch in the future contests as well. Jake?
David, the big story, obviously, is who's winning right now, and we have Sanders, Buttigieg, and Amy Klobuchar in the first, second, and third place with the votes still coming in. But the other story is who's not doing well. And one of those big stories, of course, is former Vice President Joe Biden coming in right now, fifth place. Let's go to Arlette Saenz, who's with the Biden campaign in South Carolina. And Arlette, obviously, the Biden campaign did not anticipate that he was going to have a good night. And the former vice president telegraphed that, oddly enough, at the beginning of the debate on Friday night. But this is a really poor showing, fifth place.
Yeah, it sure is, Jake. And so far, no official comment from Biden's campaign about the way that New Hampshire is tracking right now. But it's very clear that Biden and his team were eager to move on past Iowa and New Hampshire and get on to diverse states like right here in South Carolina, also states like Nevada. They see the diverse demographics in states like South Carolina as being part of his path to the nomination. So in a short while, he will be addressing supporters here in Columbia, South Carolina. They've been gathering here for a few hours. There's no TVs telling people about the results in New Hampshire, but I talked to a few of his supporters who are keeping tabs on their phone. So many of his allies pointing to states like South Carolina and the diverse demographics here. State Senator Marlin Kimpson, who is a prominent supporter of Biden's here in the state, he told me that Iowa and New Hampshire are not barometers for the rest of the country and that states like South Carolina need to get their vote in here. The majority of the Democratic primary electorate here is made up of black voters. That is a constituency that the Biden campaign really sees as a bedrock of their support. But certainly the campaign is aware that candidates may be heading out of Iowa and New Hampshire now with momentum of stronger finishes with the former vice president. And the way things are tracking here tonight is certainly going to be disappointing for the Biden campaign.
All right, Arlette Saenz with the Biden campaign in South Carolina. And Dan, I can't think of anything more illustrative of the kind of night Vice President Biden is having than the fact that his party in South Carolina does not even have a TV for people to watch.
Or that he's in South Carolina.
Or that he's in South Carolina, too. That's the other detail. But he does have an argument to make that last poll I saw, he was at 49% in the African-American community, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg was at 0% in the African-American community. That was a Q poll nationwide. And he does have a path forward in the sense that he does well with African-American voters, and that's 60% of the electorate in South Carolina in the Democratic primary.
He does, but even in that poll, I was just looking at it, he's lost a lot of the share of the black vote, which he had earlier on, because that has always been what his campaign called his firewall, because they didn't anticipate him doing well in the first two states.
This is Dr. Jill Biden, his wife, coming out and speaking to supporters.
And so we expect the former vice president to come out any minute. But I think we just also have to take a moment and just digest the fact that a former two-term vice president of the United States, didn't even place, it looks like, we're not done yet, but it looks like he's headed towards not even placing in the top 4.
Right.
I mean, getting single digits of support, not even getting enough support to get one delegate from New Hampshire. I mean, that is stunning. Now, he, at least at the end, set himself up for that by starting the debate, as you mentioned, with Arlette at the last debate, which everybody in New Hampshire who I talked to was watching, by saying that they wouldn't support him. But still, it is by far one of the biggest storylines of the night, despite the fact that his campaign worked very hard to set expectations at these levels.
No one has ever come in 4th in Iowa and 5th in New Hampshire and then gone on to get the nomination. We're going to squeeze in a quick break, and so we can come back and bring you former Vice President Joe Biden speaking in South Carolina. Stay with us.